John Corston, the head teacher of Nippon Do, a karate jutsu school. He's here today to tell us what karate jutsu is, and if he could please explain what karate jutsu is.
You learn punching and kicking and grappling and throwing, just as in normal everyday karate. But the main difference from other karate schools is that we don't have competition. So that's the main difference.
How long have you been teaching karate jutsu?
I've been teaching now for 20 years. And here we are in this building in Amsterdam for 12 years. And before that I taught karate at some youth project where little children were who weren't able to live at their parents. So I taught their karate jutsu as well for 5 years before that.
And this karate jutsu, did you originally start learning this, and where did you first pick it up?
Well, I picked it up in Amsterdam, where my teacher lived, and he had a karate school, and I joined the karate classes there, and I trained there for 6 years, and then became a karate teacher after that.
Now, karate jutsu, does that differ from karate, or what's the difference there?
Well, the main difference is that karate jutsu is slightly older, and therefore we have also more dangerous techniques like wrist locks or grappling or open hand techniques like finger punching or striking, and all these kinds of techniques are not allowed in competition karate. So we are not dealing with competition, so we are actually doing the old style of karate. So we have many kata, and we can study more or less like in an encyclopedia the old techniques given down from master to student and so on.
So they had written down the different kata styles and the different ways of doing the kata in these old books. I mean, how many years do you think that is when the oldest encyclopedia kata books?
Well, one of the oldest kata is known to man is that of Hachi Dankin in Japanese, or in Chinese Baduanshin, and that's an old kata. It's also for exercise for your health as well. It's a fighting art, and it's very Chinese, and still we also have it in karate, and it's very old. It's like 800 or 900 years old. That's the oldest kata we know. But you know, karate only started to be famous and to be spread around the world only in 1922. Before that, we only had the unspoken or unwritten details of the masters. So there were a lot of karate styles, and they were not known as karate yet. So the name karate only started in 1912 or something, and that's Chinese at first. It meant Changfa, or the Chinese hand, and later on, because of Japanese nationalistic views, they said, well, we can't have something, it's called Chinese, so we have to find an equivalent, and they used the word kara as meaning empty, no weapons, no extra meaning. I'm just here as I am.
And this karate jutsu, what does it do for a student's body and mind after learning a couple of years, or in the beginning also?
Well, at first people come in and think it's only a fitness exercise, and that's also true, but gradually they start to change. It's very confronting sometimes. You have to be on time, for instance, in the lessons, or you have to have short nails, or no jewelry. That's not allowed. No bubble gum. No speaking in the dojo. So there are a lot of restrictions which can be confronting for a person. And in the end, you will have more flexibility as not only in your body, but also in your mind and in your behavior. In India, they say, "I cannot see your mind. I cannot." You'll be aware of it, but where is your spirit? Well, in India they say the spirit comes from one tree to another tree, like a monkey. And if you go after the spirit, it will go away from you. So if you have to calm down the spirit, you have to lay down some fruits. Every day you put there some fruits, and gradually the monkey is allowed to come near you and just comes to eat every day. And that's how we do the exercises. First, it's only physical exercise, but by the physical exercise, the mind will calm down, and you can see your mind more clearly. And that's the confronting part as well from Budo. It's like a mirror. So if you come in like this, or you come in like this, so it displays your mind, but you cannot work with it. But you can work with the body. The body is there. You can say, well, you have to do it like this, or you have to do it like this, or don't use too much power, or relax more. And these are things, at first you think they're only physical, but they're very much mental as well. So that's the difference also.
And this awakening happens, but the students are unaware of this awakening.
Yes.
And are you helping them along with their spiritual awakening? I mean, your advanced students?
Yes. Well, this hall where we train, this trainings hall, is actually called Dojo. And Dojo means Do is the way, and Jo is the place. So it literally means the way to explain the way, the place to explain the way. So in classical Budo, you're always confronted with yourself, because the real enemy is within. And at first you like to see the enemy outside of you. You like to blame the world, you like to blame your parents, or you like to blame your boss. And of course maybe they have a slight blame, but you cannot deal with it. If you start looking at yourself, you can see where maybe there is a little bit of blame with you. And if you see that, you can take that away. So that's actually the mirroring effect of karate. If you are very aggressive in daily life, in traffic, or on your work, or at your family, then you're also aggressive in the dojo. But in the dojo, you will be mirrored, and you can see yourself, and maybe you change by it. At least you know it from yourself, and you can grab it, you can work with it. And if you're not able to see it at first, well, that's no problem. You can do the physical exercise, and we can see that maybe you're fighting too hard, like relax, or maybe you're too weak, more power. So that's how we work with them, with everybody.
So this is explains the mirrors you have in your dojos, so they could see each other and see themselves in the mirrors. I'd like to know, have you ever been to Japan? And if you have, what is maybe the difference, between the Far East teachings of karate jutsu and the teachings here in Amsterdam in the West?
Well, the main difference is, of course, the culture. They come from a Buddhist culture, Shintoist culture, and that's of course not known to us. We are a Christian society in Europe, in America. So what we did was making a film from the Japanese, and saw their very strong men, for instance, bare feet, working out in the snow with bare tops, and snow is coming up from above to their shoulders, and you think, wow, that's strong. Or maybe you see them breaking shells, or maybe you see them fighting and they have faces like so. And if you make a picture from it, then we like to do this as well, and we are very competitive. We are very eager to win. And of course, this attitude makes that we are very able in doing karate tournaments. And so Germany, England, America, and also Holland are prominent in karate tournament. They are very good. But the thing is, what we think is that they only made a video film, and they could not find out the heart. They didn't see the heart of the Japanese or the Indian or the Chinese, because they're transporting this film into our culture. And in our culture there is this competitiveness and the eager to win, or maybe the eagerness not to lose, and that's not relevant in Budo. In Budo it's more like a path where you can learn and develop yourself, change. It's very important in Budo.
Are they negligent to the way it is being done here?
Well, of course, we have the famous Anton Geesink, who won in 1964 from Kaminaka Sensei. And it was because of his etiquette when he sent off the supporters from from Holland. He sent them away from the tatami. They were enjoying his conquering this Kaminaka Sensei, and they wanted to share their joy, and they just stepped on the tatami with their shoes, and he said, "No, it's not done. Go away." And that made him very popular in Japan, because he understood as well the etiquette as also doing the competition. Nowadays, it's very difficult if you are very aimed at the competition and winning golden medals. Well, that's not a big difference from who you were before you came into the dojo. So we like to think there's some yin and yang, and if you're too yin or too yang, you have to do something to come more in balance. And well, I think Anton Geesink was really in balance when he won the Olympic medal and also understood about the etiquette. But that's in 1964. Now we are in 1998, and well, it's sometimes more difficult to find the proper etiquette, the way of behaving in the dojo and also outside.
Now, with your teachings here, you emphasize not the competition spirit, but more of the physical and the mental, philosophical spirit with your students. Is this mainly your idea to make your students better outside in the world and keeping them outside of the tracks of the competition dojos?
No, not necessarily. If they like, they can join any competition they like, and it's no problem. You can do karate in competition way, but it's then very difficult to see there are more jewels hidden in karate or in judo or in aikido than only the competition. What we do is not, we actually do not offer a spiritual path in such a way like, well, this is Budo and this is spiritual. No, we say this is Budo, we do karate, but you also have the etiquette. You have to behave in a certain way, you have to train in a certain way, you have to be serious, and all these kind of factors will change, ultimately will change the student by itself. So there is no force, there is no doctrine, there is no dogma, there is only the training. And in the course of your training, and it can come from 6 years to 10 years, there's a real change. You will change your attitude, you will change your behavior. Maybe you're less timid, or maybe you're less aggressive. And your environment will say, hey, you're changed, how come? And then maybe you start to think, well, how did it occur, how did I change? And then maybe you can make the connection, I changed because I'm doing already for so long the karate training or the Budo training. Judo, Aikido, it's all alike.
And you see this in your advanced students and also your beginning students. If somebody wanted to learn this karate jutsu from your school, when do you teach this, and how would they do that?
Well, right from the start, you can come here and train. But well, if you are always late, you will also be late at my class. Well, we don't mind if you're late, but there is this consequence: you cannot participate in the class anymore. So this is a confronting barrier. If you as a student are very unflexible, you will say, well, I was too late only 1 minute, and the bridge was open, and it wasn't my fault. And well, I don't mind. It's no big deal, but you cannot train. I'm sorry. And then there is this breaking point for the student. Maybe you go like, oh, I don't like this school, and you're very unflexible. But on the other hand, if you trained already a few months here, you feel the atmosphere, you feel the situation, and maybe you can have enough power to say, well, I don't like it if I'm not allowed to train, but okay, I will do it. And if you do it, change will come again, and eventually you start by not being too late anymore, or you have to have clean fingers just for safety and short nails, but also as a way of behaving here. Your behavior is always here. It's available. So that's what we do. But at first you only think, well, I'm here to learn some punches or kicking. But in the process, you're doing a lot more.
We'll talk about that later. And with this kind of teaching, and also I see your flyers around town. How has that worked for you in these recent months?
Well, we have a few ways of making public relation, but promotion. And one way is with flyers, and it's very direct in a certain neighborhood. And we have also the yellow pages, and especially from the yellow pages, a lot of people come to our slogan, art, philosophy, and sport, and they see the logo. Like what we do, and but if you only have the words, like now this conversation, you can think, well, maybe this is too. We have just the body, so we have actually only the training, and in the training it all happens, but we don't have philosophical classes or something like that. It just evolves from the training.
But also with the training, maybe you ask a student to read a certain book, or do you have certain books that are useful in helping your student along and getting all sides of the ball?
Well, we don't have special books on spiritual things, because we think you have to live your spirituality. So if you read about it, it's a very Western form of philosophy. It will go only in your head, and especially in Budo, we like the philosophy to come in your belly. In Japanese, called hara. So if you're well behaved, it's automatically that you have a well developed hara, we say. So spirituality is only learned by us by doing. It's a philosophy of doing, and not too much of reading. And these kind of conversations we now have, we only have because of this relationship we have. Normally, if I have a relationship with my pupils, we won't go in so far for philosophical conversation, because it will make you heavy in the head, and will make you float around. And we like to be very balanced in the belly. That's why.
To the ground, which is the meaning of the hara. It's
Yes.
down to earth.
Yes, it's both. We are standing on the floor with both feet, but on the same way we have our head in the clouds, so in the sky. So it's both ways. If you lose the ground, you will float away, and you have this new age thing, and it's very nice, but it's almost like floating away on a new wave. We have that's one thing. But you can read about it. You can have small courses about it. You can do all kinds of small courses, and that's not the belief of Buddha. In Buddha, you have to work very hard and very long before it gets spiritual in your hara, and that's also a barrier for many students, because they like instant result. They want to have self-defense in only 12 lessons, but that's not done. It's not possible. You have to learn a lot and change a lot, and maybe train for 10 years before you're effective enough to do self-defense. So if you do karate for self-defense, it's okay, but it's much quicker to buy a gun. It's much quicker. You don't have to study. You just buy a gun and can shoot everybody you like. But that's not the purpose of karate or the purpose of Buddha. The real self-defense is by changing your attitude. If you're an aggressive person, you're aggressive at your family and at your work and maybe in traffic. So there are a lot of conflict on your path, and maybe a lot of quarrel, and maybe even fighting. So if you like to defend yourself and you like to do karate, well, maybe you like to do a lot of self-defense techniques, but in the end, the real self-defense is your attitude. If your attitude changes and be more gentle instead of aggressive, you will come not so many times in these difficult circumstances, because you created them themselves. And that's where Buddha can really change you in that sense.
Well, thank you very much for the interview.
You're welcome.
Very wise words you've given to us. This is David Elliot for Mister.
Tend to do is like there's this saying, change the world and start with yourself. Well, we start with ourselves, and hopefully, maybe one day the world will change. But we don't have we are the world changers. We're just doing karate, and in that we try to seek enlightenment for the small group that we are. We have approximately 200 students here. Well, that's more than me alone. So if I can do something to change these 200 people, maybe they can change the world. They live in societies, they work and go to work every day, and maybe they have something which they can change their environment.